Dignitaries on the dais, Justice through P. Sadasivam, former Chief Justice of India and former Governor Kerala. Dr. Rajiv Mani, Secretary, Department, Legal Affairs, Government of India. Professor Dr. N.S. Santosh Kumar, Vice Chancellor, Dr. Ambedkar Law University. Dr. Ranju Rathi Rana, Additional Secretary, Department of Legal Affairs, Government of India. Distinguished members of Higher Judiciary, Additional Solicitor General and other law officers, judges of districts and judicial officers of various ranks, lawyers and students of law, police officers, my dear brothers and sisters, Anaivarkum Vanakam. You had a day-long session on the new laws, and I'm sure the technical sessions must have given the details of all these three laws, and these have been talked about ad nauseum, and I'm sure in days to come, he will be using it ad nauseum. Some reservations have been expressed, apprehensions too, but that's quite understandable. Especially those people of my generation, elderly people, they have difficulty in comprehending things. But I have no doubt that our young people who have been smartly navigating the complex life environment on their mobile phones, smartphones, they are far more smarter. I don't think they will have much difficulty. Much of the concern is of the elder people like us who have difficulty in understanding these things. Also because we have been groomed in a kind of education system that also forbids us thinking new, especially if it is a fundamentally new. You know, when the Prime Minister launched the digital public infrastructure and said that we should have Jan Dhan account, zero account. Many people, especially elderly, learned people, made fun. How the villagers will use the digital public infrastructure. We know today, an illiterate person, of course today we hardly have any illiterate, but if it's for the sake of it, poor person in the village, the one who sells vegetable on the pavement, does transaction on digital. Let us not underestimate the intelligence of our people. They are capable of it and they understand it, and let us keep our reservations to ourselves. We must express it wherever we get the forum, that's fine. Friends, 1st July 2024 will go down in history as the day when India took a major step towards decolonization of its laws. 10 years back, on 18 Guardian, the iconic newspaper of Delhi of London, they had published their editorial, 18th of May 2014. And the editorial reads, it begins, 18 May 2014 may as well go down the history as the day when finally Britain left India. That was the day when new Prime Minister had taken over in Delhi, Prime Minister Modi. The editorial further reads that because until then, governance in India has been British rule by other means. These are not my words. These are words of London Guardian. Now, every society, I believe, has a right to decide, and it has a sense of what is right, what is wrong, what is justice. Every society. Because these sense of right, wrong, and justice are rooted in the collective civilizational consciousness and values of the people. We know that our criminal laws were framed by the colonizers, not by the people of India, not by the Parliament of India. And it is surprising. And in fact, to some extent, it is painful that for 70 long years, 70, 75, 77 long years, we kept on with the system. Friends, Mahatma Gandhi on 15th of August 1947, when the country was celebrating independence, Mahatma Gandhi was somber, sitting in a poor colony of Delhi, a slum of Delhi. And people approached him, some people, especially the media. They asked him, why the whole country is happy? Why are you not celebrating? And Mahatma Gandhi said, well, British have left us only physically. They are still in our mind. And it will take hard work, conscious effort to ease them out of our mind. Unfortunately, it took more than 75 years for Mahatma Gandhi's dream to be fulfilled. Unfortunately, after independence, the people, largely, who were in charge of the affairs in all sections, executive, legislature, and judiciary, they were product of Macaulay system of education. We kept glorifying, even our Supreme Court kept quoting judgments from Privy Council, US Supreme Court. Is it not a manifestation of our colonization? Friends, this country, India, it deserved to have criminal laws, for that sake all laws, framed by the people of India, not by someone who colonized us. We must also realize that there is a fundamental difference between the way the Western societies, Western states were constituted and the way Bharat was formed. Western countries, states were constituted on the basis of reconciliation of interest. Take case of America, United States of America. Who constituted United States of America? The people from different parts of UK and Europe, they went and settled there. Primarily, they called themselves explorer. They went and captured the land as much as they can, as they could. And they started maximizing the profit. And in that process, there were conflict of interest. They had to come up with laws. There was no kinship among them except kinship of interest. And that interest was at a conflict, because each one was there to maximize the profit. Most of the European countries also have been through various hordes and hordes of people coming in and migrating through violence, settling down. A situation where the laws and the concept of law, the philosophy of law that they developed was not based on something which comes out of a long settled civilization with a sense of kinship. As the Western states, Western societies were created, were constituted on the basis of reconciliation of interest. In India, in Indian society, this country, Bharat, was formed or evolved through shared values. These shared values. And what are these shared values? The shared values have been at the core of it, that we are all members of a family. Right from the most ancient time. Since then, this outlook about oneself, about the family, about the society, that grew out that my family is extension of mine, my society is further extension of my family, and so is my Rashtra. That is how compassion, seva, and service are ingrained in which we live. Every Indian lives it on a day-to-day basis. Maybe the educated people may not be able to perhaps see it so closely. Even today, no hungry person returns from the house unfed. Wherever the guy goes, go to the remote area. In fact, they are the people where you find that the spirit of India lives there. Shared values. Shared values is integral humanism, that we are all part of a family. Entire creation is integral. Western society were formed on a basis of something that is called contractual creation of a state. That is why there is so much emphasis on individual liberty. Individuals were sovereign according to the European concept, Western concept, and they got together and through a contract, society or the state grew. Is it so? No, we don't believe that. Ours has been not a contract, it is an integral. We know that every individual has certain autonomy. It's like a subatomic particle in an atom. Every subatomic particle in an atom has certain autonomy, but it is not free from the overall structure of the atom. And so every atom is a part of a molecule. It has a certain degree of independence and autonomy, but not free from overall structure of the molecule. So there is nothing called absolute freedom, or there's nothing called a state as a product of a contract of the individuals. Unfortunately, this theory, the concept of contractual evolution of a state, seeped into us also. And that is how we started looking at things. In fact, when our great fathers of Constitution, framers of Constitution, who gave us this beautiful document, the Article 1st of the Constitution of India says, India, that is Bharat, Union of States. They didn't say it is a federation of states. India, that is Bharat. What is Bharat? Is it defined? And those of legal experts, those you are here, you must have read the Constituent Assembly debate. That when this was brought, the draft was presented. Drafting committee presented the draft to the Constituent Assembly. There were 32 or 33 speakers. 29 of them, they rejected it. I said, where is Bharat in it? You have fundamental rights, you have a states, union, you have separation of this legislature, executive, judiciary, you have distribution of finances, settlement of disputes. These are space neutral. It can be put in any country. Where is Bharat? Where is the soul of Bharat? This is not acceptable. And then the matter was debated that they couldn't afford to delay it. And so they they decided that civilizational evolutionary journey of Bharat must be a part of the constitution. And so a team was constituted and they made the pictorial depiction of the constitution, of the civilizational evolution of Bharat. And that is why the first painting is of a Vedic school. That is the time when the civilization of Bharat began. And his team from Vishwa Bharati, they got their job, got into the painting. And in the original constitution, all these civilizational evolution of Bharat, right from the time of the Vedic period, was depicted. But immediately thereafter, subsequent editions of it, these were removed. So Bharat as such is not understood by our students. We don't teach them. Even in our law schools, we don't teach them what is Bharat. And to understand, when you talk about law, a spirit of law is jurisprudence. Don't we have our own jurisprudence? Are we not capable of creating an Indian jurisprudence? These three laws are actually expression of Indian jurisprudence. Go back in the history. The laws, our society, our country, Rashtra, several thousand years old, established, organized. They were not lawless. In fact, when I was a middle class student, class 6th, 7th, we used to have a question, the benefits of British rule. We used to be taught, benefits of British rule. And one of the benefits was, they gave us laws and justice. I mean, what an outrageous humiliation. As if we were barbarians. Long before Europe could settle down. After how long it has? They have been fighting. All these concept of sovereign states and all these settlement of rights and all these things have been, not even 300 to 400 years old. This country has had a system of law which are embedded in our ancient text. And also there have been some people, be it Chanakyaa, be it Kamandak, be it Tiruvalluvar. Tirukural is a book of jurisprudence. I admire it. When I read it, I find there is so much of wisdom of law in it. Friends, all that we need to do is to dive into it, to delve into it. There are some jurists who have done it. I went through some of them. One such book I recently went through was by Mr. K. Parasaran. Legal Wisdom from Ramayana, published by Shastra University. Beautiful documentation. Just one example. Now, the laws have been, criminal laws have been enacted. It is being implemented, and I'm sure it will be implemented very, very smoothly. And the apprehensions that it will have difficulty, I have my own doubt. I have no doubt about the difficulties. I have doubt about such apprehensions. It will be implemented smoothly. There won't be any problem. Some teething troubles would happen, but that's not something which is so significant. Any change that happens, it comes around with certain amount of some teething troubles. It will. But now the question is also, when it will be implemented, there will be interpretation. We will have judges, we will have lawyers, we will have people who will be looking at it from the old perspective. And there is a chance of getting it defeated by such people. And hence there is a need to come up with a proper, appropriate jurisprudence of which is Indian. I would urge the jurists, the law professors, and the social thinkers, because they are the people who can think about it. Those are the people who can churn the essence out of it, the spirit of law. Because when it comes to interpretation, we have seen multiple interpretations coming. The same thing, today something else, tomorrow something else. They become sometimes, at the moment, whatever it appears right to the presiding officer decides. We must have a well-documented, and it is not that will be done by well-documented jurisprudence. It cannot be by government. It cannot be by the legislature. Legislature can make the law. But philosophy of law, the spirit of law has to come from the jurist, from the professors of law, and from the social thinker. Devote themselves, commit themselves, and come up with it. A jurisprudence which is consistent with our ethos, our values, which we truly call Bharatiya. And at a time when the world is looking at India with expectations to find the problems of the world, and we have been reaching out to the world with a sense of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, Yadamure, Yavarum Kelir, we are all, whole world is a family. With that spirit which we are moving, it is very important that we must also give to the world a model of jurisprudence, our jurisprudence. It is time that we must shed from our mind what has been fed to us by the people who were civilizationally way, way behind. Because it is in this very land that this light came, that we are all members of a family. That is why Bharat is not just a country or a desha. Bharat, in ancient literature, Bharat has been called a Rashtra. And a Rashtra which has been created not by force, not by ruler. It doesn't fit in the modern political definition of European definition of a state. That you have a territory, you have a people, you have a government running the administration, and that government is sovereign. It is much more than that. It is a Rashtra. And our Veda says Rashtra, how the Rashtra emerges. Bhadram ikshanta rishya, swavidah tapo diksham upanishedu ragra, tato rashtram balamo jasya jatam. The rishis, the people, the wise people, meaning the welfare of all, equipped with the knowledge of the self. And what is the knowledge of the self? Mama Atma Sarva Bhutatma. My soul is the soul of all, every being. With that sense, that light is spread. And with that light, a strong Rashtra, Tato Rashtram Balamo Jasajatam, a strong Rashtra emerges. The sense of inclusivity, there is no exclusivity. There is no other, all are a member of family. This vision must enlighten, must illuminate our jurisprudence. And it is the journey has begun. Though it has taken 77 years, but we have begun the journey. Now we have to take it forward. And this responsibility lies on such people to go to take it forward in a more